In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. It's great to be here, and we're going to dig in today into video production and the need to get comfortable on video and having some confidence and writing brand videos, and about the way that video is a critical part of marketing in not just 2025, but for the foreseeable future. My guest today is Mariana Henninger, and she is an Emmy Award-winning filmmaker and founder at Brandmagnetic, where she empowers entrepreneurs to build trust faster and accelerate sales with an emotion-driven brand video. Mariana, welcome to the show.
Hey, Emmanuel, great to be here.
I really appreciate you taking time to have this conversation with me about something that a lot of smaller brands struggle with, right? Which is having people on video and how to produce video either internally or through third-party providers like yourself.
Yeah, so we focus on brand videos specifically, although my background is in documentary filmmaking, and I do have a small production company that I don't talk about too much. I take on very specific clients for those kinds of videos. But to me, the most important video that you absolutely must have to connect with people right away, to stand out, to not feel like you have to shout above the noise, to create magnetic marketing and really make people feel like they're drawn to you before you even sell anything, is a brand video. It's a 2 to 3 minute video that really builds trust faster and accelerates sales by telling your story in a very specific way.
And is that brand video, does it have to be like the founder or the CEO, or can it be somebody from the marketing department?
It honestly should be the face of the brand. It should be the person whose story embodies the mission and the uniqueness of the brand. I also talk about not just how you feel you are unique in the marketplace, but how people perceive your uniqueness in the marketplace. And so it's owning and really understanding, but also owning why people are drawn to you, working with you versus anyone else. Typically, if you've done a good job around your personal brand or around the brand of your company, those two things align, right? Where you're telling the story of who you are in all sorts of different assets in your messaging. And that is why people are attracted to you. But sometimes there are other things that are attracting people to you that you might not even be aware of, or you might not be putting at the forefront. And so it's really understanding exactly what is the way that people connect with you, and why do they trust you? Why do they want to work with you? In encapsulating that in a video that is really centered around one person, ideally, because humans connect with humans. We don't connect with logo. We don't connect with a big corporation or anything like that.
Right. Well, let's see. What are some industries that were kind of like the outlier industries where they're like, we probably don't need this, but we're going to do it anyway. You know, like, because sometimes it's funny where businesses in certain industries, like say we're a mining company or an oil production company, they're like, well, in our industry, nobody cares. We're just looking for an outcome. Have you worked with clients like that before?
I think even that is changing a lot, Emmanuel, where previously it was around, can you get this done? Can you get results? How much does it cost? Right. So a lot of these more, transactional relationships happen around those things. Even then, at the end of the day, it's humans working with humans. So if all of those things are met and you're still, interacting or interfacing with that brand through, or that company that you've hired through their team, right? And if their team sucks, if you don't actually like the culture of the company, it's going to be a drag. Like you might get results, but you're not going to enjoy the process of getting there. And yes, ultimately it is about the results. I'm not trying to diminish the end result, but we want to actually enjoy the work that we do, right? I don't know about you. I love the process when it's great, when I work with clients that I love, when they love me, when it's a relationship that I can end the workday and be like, wow, that was awesome. I feel great.
Yeah.
That's what we want, right? Even more than the results. And so even though traditionally those have been like the main things that people worry about, I think there's been a shift in marketing towards caring about the values of the company, caring about the culture of the company. Will I like the experience of getting to those results? And that's all based on human connection, right? And so understanding how to put that into one single video that people watch top of funnel is incredibly important. So even if you think that your business is just about delivering results and nothing else, people actually care. People care what you stand for. They care about what your vibe is. Like, am I going to enjoy this process?
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, a lot of the way I construct stories is around problem solution call to action, or kind of around the hero's journey. And so, do either of those match up with what you're doing for the brand videos, or what's your process?
I think the best way to look to understand what a brand video is, for those of you who are listening right now, take a quick pause. Go to brandmagnetic.com/Mariana. That's my brand video, Mariana. I spell that really fast. Sorry. Mariana. Watch it. It takes like 2 to 3 minutes, and then come back to us, and you'll come with a completely different idea around what a brand video is. In terms of how we structure the story, to answer your question, everyone falls into 2 types of stories. Your audience being more marketing folks or agency owners, they probably have a passion story. Sometimes I work with coaches, folks who help people overcome something that they've helped. They have an overcome story. So if they can identify with the frustrations of their audience on a personal level because they've been there themselves, they have an overcome story. If they are purely driven to do what they do out of passion and out of love and out of, I can't help but do this, although both those cases, we want to justify why you're doing this because you can't help but do this, right? But folks who haven't experienced the frustration themselves have a passion story. And so the overcome story is quite simple. I don't use the hero's journey. I find it way too complicated. I think personally, I feel like it's very well suited for, really long movies like, I don't know, Harry Potter or something like that.
Okay.
Hollywood movies use it all the time, right?
Yep.
We're talking 2 or 3 minutes here. So the way that I really boil it down is you have an old normal, something happened, then you have a new normal, and then you pivot to your mission, which is this thing that I described, which is you can't help but do this thing, right? So you're not selling. It's not a call to action. This is not your regular marketing video. This is a video that's making the person feel like very quickly they've gotten to know you in a deep way. And you've hit what I call the 4 trust triggers. And they are the person who's watching this video, your cold audience person, top of funnel, just discovered you, boom, they're watching your brand video. They should feel like, 1, you get them on a very deep level, whether you've lived through it or not, right? Yep. Whether you have experiences personally or not, or they're the people that you serve, but you have to show that you get them deeply. They have to feel that you care about them deeply. You're not just, adding to their bottom line. You're not just a number on their Stripes screenshot that they're going to flash everywhere. And hopefully, maybe you're doing that, maybe you're not. But the third thing is that they feel like you've got them. This is where your expertise comes in. And so many businesses online, Emmanuel, I'm sure you know this, so many folks just rely on hitting the authority and the expertise bell all the time, right? Like, like as long as I can keep showing up as the authority, and here's my expertise, and here are some tips to help you, and this is why I know what I know, and like that's part of the equation, but it's not it. It's not all of it, right? People need to feel like you get them deeply and that you care about them. then they need to know, actually, you know what you're doing. You've had experience in this. You have testimonials. You have, like, that's where that authority piece comes in.
Right.
And then finally, the last of the 4 trust triggers that I teach is that they should vibe with you, right? That the personality piece is there, that the like from know, like, and trust is there.
Yeah.
And so if you're able to encapsulate hit those 4 trust triggers by sharing your story in your brand video, then they're sold on you. That you have primed your cold audience. So I have a brand video accelerator program. I have clients where we do this for them. We create their brand video for them. And in both instances, I have folks who have used their brand video in their welcome sequence. I teach them all the 25 different ways you can use your brand video. It really is truly amazing ROI from one piece of content.
Nice.
Can you imagine? So cold audiences coming into your email, downloaded a lead magnet, came across your social, whatever the case may be, getting a welcome sequence from you where that welcome sequence has your brand video kind of interspersed. It really is an enticing, beautiful, captivating way to share who you are and why you do, your personality, your mission, your drive, and responding to that email, Emanuel. Like, I have students and clients who have said their response rate, cold audiences have skyrocketed since adding their brand video to that sequence, because it's the human connection that we crave, right? It's not getting lost in the shuffle, not getting lost in the noise, not being like, wait, what was that? I can't really remember. Why are you in my inbox? Right? You signed up for something. Why are you there? That doesn't happen anymore.
And so are you using clips from the brand video in email, or are you just getting it all at one time? Yeah.
For sure. So this was actually, I have to give credit to one of my clients, Casey, who came up with this idea. Her background was in marketing at L'Oreal. And she was the one who very cleverly created GIFs from her brand video and interspersed them in that welcome sequence.
Nice.
And then at the end, she has her call to action is like, here, you can watch a video of my story right here. The click-through rate also, I think, tripled or quadrupled in that welcome sequence email. Wow. And then the response rate to me is what's the most beautiful thing. Like, I get response rates from my welcome sequence. I teach this now from her idea. And it really, like, just yesterday, I got somebody saying, I have no idea who this person was, right? I checked them out. They were very new to my funnel. And they said, I felt seen. I felt like, this is so rare. I get it. Right. And so I think those responses are incredible. They're invaluable, because to me, that is the equivalent of 6 to 12 months of posting on social media, of showing up regularly, of all of this labor that we do. And I'm not saying you don't ever need to be visible again, but I'm saying that every time you do show up, there's going to be so much more impact, because people remember who you are. They remember that they like you, and all of those feelings that were created in them in the moment they watch your brand video resurface when they see you again.
Yeah, I love what you're constructing here, which is the emotional intelligence part of marketing. And in order to be able for it to work that cleanly, you really have to be clear about who your ideal client is.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right, and you have to have identified what their needs are and some of their psychographics in order to speak to that. And then I could see also that you might have more than one of these brand videos. You have different ICPs.
I feel like businesses do best when they speak to one type of audience.
Yeah. And
so as long as your audience doesn't change, I mean, you can even change your offers, Emanuel. Like, the brand video is truly a forever asset in your business, unless you change the audience that you're speaking to, in which case it might resonate a little less, or it won't be as targeted, right? You do not actually need more than one brand video. One well-crafted brand video. I call it, lately in some of my content, I've been talking about, like, this is not a McDonald's meal. This is not a repurposed video that you just throw on social media and hope for the best. Yeah. This is a carefully crafted, intentionally crafted video that is, akin to like a chef's meal. Like, it really is robust. It's deep. It takes a bit of work to create, but it is a forever asset. You put in the work and then you see it work for you 24/7.
I love it. Well, let's talk about a little bit about what are some of the assets that people should have before they start working with you, so that they come in ready to get it done?
The only thing you need before you start working with me is clarity. You need to know who you serve, and whether you know them deeply enough it's unlikely. I really push all my students to go deeper, deeper, deeper. And that's the starting point. And you nailed it. Like, that's exactly where we start. And any good marketing, that's where you should start. So you don't really need anything else to get started. You don't need to know what parts of your story to tell. You don't need to know how to tell it. You don't need to have filmed. So in my program, I teach people how to film everything on their phone. It's a very low lift from a gear perspective. Some people want to upgrade. They want either us to do it all for them. They maybe want to work with a videographer. They want to outsource that, or maybe they have somebody on their video team, right, who's handling that. Sure. And then, that person can have access to that portion of the program where I'm teaching them, these are the shots that you want to hit. This one important thing, like less than the tech, maybe in my opinion, less important than the technical aspect of the filming with your phone, is just understanding the power of emotional visuals. So we're not using just run-of-the-mill B-roll to have something to watch while you're listening to your story. It really is using visuals as an intentional tool to push those emotions forward, to carry the story with it, but as a character in the story. And so it's really understanding which visuals are going to take that emotional weight with you, so that when people are watching your brand video, they feel something called narrative transportation. I don't know if you've heard of this. Don't even get me started on the neuroscience of how all this works.
Yeah.
But narrative transportation is essentially when somebody's watching something. I mean, you'll think of a movie maybe. I watched Free Solo when it came out. I don't know if you remember the Free Climber. It was a documentary.
Right.
I watched it on the 3D movie theater in IMAX, and it wasn't 3D. I'm sorry. It was IMAX, and it was the worst decision of my life. I was so stressed. I was like literally gripping my seat. Yeah. So that's obviously an extreme case of narrative transportation, where I was like completely disconnected from my own reality. Yep. And I was living that story.
What a well-made movie then, right?
Absolutely. Obviously, like IMAX theater, what we're dealing with is people on their phones, right? Where like in one tiny swipe, they're gone. Yep. And so we want to pack that punch in 2 to 3 minutes, so that people are not thinking about, what is this person going to sell me? How much is it going to cost? Do I have the time for this? Do I have the budget for this? What is my spouse going to say? Right. all of these things and objections that come up when we are explicitly being marketed to are gone. They're not part of this equation. What we're doing right now is establishing a relationship of trust, whereby you can then inform them on what's available, right? How you can work with me comes after. This is who I am. This is what my company stands for. This is why I built this. All of those things, like the values, are at the forefront, and this is what we're connecting on.
I love it. And I think it's a amazingly powerful concept that you put into action here. I love the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Let's see. And obviously, if people want to get in touch with you, they would reach out to brandmagnetic.com, or is there another way that you like to be contacted?
Sure. I'm Mariana Henninger on LinkedIn, if your folks are there. My platform where I'm a little bit more active is Instagram. So you can find me at Brandmagnetic on Instagram. Feel free to DM me, send me a quick note. I love to hear from folks who have come across my work or what I'm sharing. And a lot of times it resonates with folks. I really would love for more people to be talking about this. I think in the age of AI, right? In the age where content is so easy to create, it's a lot easier to create now than it used to be.
For sure.
It's so important for us to have that human connection and that piece where we feel like we're not just getting sold to. This is not content that feels bland or feels like it was microwaved. Yep. It really is so important to be able to build trust on a human level.
I couldn't agree more. And I really appreciate your time and breaking all that down for us. And I'm hopeful that you have a good and busy next period in your life, and that maybe we'll reach out again and have you on again and see what's going on in a few months.
Thanks, Emmanuel. Oh, I don't know how much, if we have just one more minute, Emmanuel, we didn't touch on this that I think is really, really interesting, but I actually completely reformulated my program around AI. We now have what I lovingly call my AI dream team, where we help you script your video. We help you create your shot list. We help you plan your shoot day, all thanks to these AI bots that we've created.
Awesome.
So I love how much it's accelerated our work. It's increased our capacity to help more folks in their businesses. I work with folks in e-commerce. I work with coaches, course creators, service providers, authors, any person who could be the face of their brand. If you're selling something, honestly, you need a brand video. But I love how AI has completely transformed our business. And on a last note, I wanted to let your folks know, whoever's watching this, if you want to get some help in starting to write your brand story, if you're like, I don't really understand this framework, or like, I'd love to know more about this framework, how exactly do I start? I do have a resource for folks that they can grab at brandmagnetic.com/cheat sheet. It's my ultimate cheat sheet for a brand story that converts, and it's a great first step. And when you sign it up to that, you'll see that welcome email that I reference. You'll see kind of the format of how that works, and hopefully you'll respond. Hopefully you'll be like, "Yep, I heard you on the podcast, and I get it. I see it." I'd love to hear from you.
All right. Well, that's amazing, and what a great way to experience all the concepts you talked about is by signing up for your sequence. Well, thank you very much, Mariana, and I appreciate your time this morning. And hang out for me while I close this up, and we'll say goodbye properly.
Thanks, Emmanuel.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's a powerful concept on a number of dimensions. One, the emotional intelligence of connecting with a prospective client. Two, being accessible on video for Gen Z and millennials who demand that kind of authenticity, and B, having a piece of evergreen content and being able to utilize it for a long time, which is a kind of a rare thing for marketing assets. Hope this has been a meaningful way for you to spend your time today, and look forward to seeing you again on Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.